You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast presented by the Major Pod Network. I am Mr. Anything is Feasible, George Feis.
And I'm the man they call Johnny Clash, and today we are playing Filsinger Games Legends of Wrestling card and dice game. And we will be joined by Todd from Filsinger Games a little later on in the podcast. But how is this game going to hold up? Is it going to get a play it forever? Woo! Or a future endeavor?
You're fired!
We also discuss more 2K22 news, AEW Games, and more.
And don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on both Apple Podcast and Spotify. And follow us on all forms of social media at Game Marks Pod. And check us out on Patreon and check out all the exclusive content we are creating. Johnny Clash.
Yo, yo, yo.
How are you, man?
So we said we were going to do this one in person. But the Iron Man streak is over. After 2.5 years, the COVID finally got me. I'm already on the other side. I'm already about 90% better. So just to be safe, we're sitting here. We can't transmit it through the computer, I hope. But here we are. We're going to set this up the way we set up Royal Rumble and the other card games. And then at a later date, which we keep saying, we're going to just bang out all these card games and make one big YouTube video.
Yes, I really think that there needs to be a card game marathon that happens one day.
I think
just get a group of people, maybe a couple pizzas, a couple cases of beer, and just go to town.
I made a nice section in my closet that you can't see of all just board games and stuff. So they're all here, they're all ready. But George boy, we played one of my favorite handheld games we ever played here last week. New Japan Pro Wrestling or Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Tokan Retsuden Advance. A lot of people commenting on this as well. A lot of views on the playthrough. I think a lot of them didn't know that this game actually existed, and once we put it out there, it's getting a lot of love, and I hope that more people are able to go and see it.
Well, I think when you hear the name Tokan Retsuden, the first thing that you think of are the major home console releases. You're not immediately jumping to like, hey, can't wait to go and play the Game Boy Advance version of it. But a little relatively unknown gem that we discovered last week. So it's always good when we get those. And I can't wait. I feel like I say this every week. Every time that it's a game that either is new or if it's just something that's new to us, I always am very excited for those kind of missed gems that we maybe didn't get to play at the height of their popularity.
Yeah, it's just like a nice little surprise, like because we played so many bad either mobile or handheld or just like older games that when one just strikes you that way, you're like, whoa. And I think it was that playthrough. You'll see if you watch it on YouTube. There's just like that moment of like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
but all right,
just so great.
So Rey Mysterio Showcase mode is complete. It is in entirety on our YouTube channel. George, how's the My Rise mode going?
I started the recording this morning, actually, before we were. That's why I said I needed a couple more minutes because I was wrapping up that recording. So I'm going to add that down, and then that was probably going up. I did get to play through, follow in your footsteps and play through the showcase mode, which was great.
So I have a gripe with it, and I'm sure you had more fun with it than I did. So I played with streamer mode on because YouTube blocks all the content. So eventually I just got to the point that when I knew the cutscene was coming, I just pressed start and I just skipped it completely. So I lost all the match finishes. I lost all the cutscenes in the middle. So I really feel like to appreciate it and hear Ray talk and all of that, I have to go back and play through it again.
Honestly, and this may be a polarizing opinion, I wasn't really a big fan. Like the first like 2 or 3 times they do it, it's like, all right, this is cool. Like they did a really good job of seamlessly transitioning from the in-game footage to the real life footage, where that I thought was really, really great. And it's really nice to hear Ray talk over it. But there's 12 showcase matches.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, because there's that bonus one at the end with Dominic. In the Thunderdome.
So for me, it kind of like broke up the match to a point where it was just kind of frustrating, or it's just like, all right, I just kind of want to get through these now so I can get to especially if it wasn't a match that you were particularly invested in. Where it's just like, all right, I just want to play the game now. Like I appreciate this was cool like the couple of times. So there were a couple that I skipped. But yeah, I understand the frustration of not really being able to get the full experience when you want it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that we'll have to visit in, I don't know, we'll upload it to a Vimeo page or something. And that way you don't get flagged, or we'll do it live on Twitch or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll work either, but we could try. All right, other news. Tony Khan came out and said that the AEW roster is not finalized for Fight Forever, so we might still see some of our favorites in there. I know I keep badgering Max Caster. Hey, you get scanned for the game yet? Hey, you get scanned for the game yet? Even if he did, he wouldn't tell me because he knows he's just like a real life troll, and he just wouldn't tell me to begin with. But I really just I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to like our legit roster reveal, and hopefully they do another one of those AEW Games Twitch streams where they reveal more people. Because I mean, even Chris Statlander changed her look since that, which was a month ago.
Curse of video games.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just broke my microphone. No problem. But all right, we're here for one reason and one reason only. I'm holding it up, and that's to play Filsinger Games. Is it Filsinger or Jur? Do you say Gur or Jur?
It's Filsinger.
Filsinger. He says that like he's so sure. All right, it's Filsinger Games. Let's go. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is all the artwork. Let's go, baby.
Hey, George. You see this light here that says game over that I point to at the end of every single episode, like Ronda Rousey pointing to that WrestleMania sign?
I do.
Do you know where I got it?
Why don't you tell me?
I got it from Zavvi. That's us.zavvi.com, Z-A-V-V-I, and they literally have everything. I have spent hours on this website looking up Mandalorian, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, like everything you could imagine. There's Legos, Power Rangers. You could pre-order the new Marvel Legends. It's an insane website that has literally everything pop culture. There's even Batman shoes on here.
I mean, I know for me, a little like adult Zen garden project that I like to do is like the smaller Lego sets, and Zavvi has a lot of those Lego sets on there and getting kind of itchy. So if you like all things pop culture, like John said, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, Nintendo, they're even getting into the wrestling game now.
Oh yeah.
Zavvi is the place for you.
That's right. Use code GameMarks, simply just GameMarks, at checkout, and you can get 10% off.
I'm going to redo my wardrobe. All right. How do we start this? Filsinger Games, Legends of Wrestling card and dice game. Released in 2001. Filsinger released their Legends of Wrestling card game featuring real-life wrestling superstars. The first playing card game to feature King Kong Bundy. And they have released a pretty steady lineup of expansions since. I think there are 15 15 in total?
There is a lot. If you go onto their website and you look at all the cards that are involved here, there are a lot. And when we talk to Todd later, we're going to pick his brain on that as well. This is insane. This card game has been around for so long. It's something that's kind of sustained as well, to the point that we have indie cards now of friends of the show. We have Matt and Brian. We have Bear Boulder. I know MJF has one. It's like endless. You could go through CZW, ROH, Chikara. It's just endless, and they're still coming out.
Max Smashmaster card in there?
There might be. You know, we could look that up pretty easily. Go, tell us a little more about the game. I'm going to look that
up. Yeah, so like we said, this game has a wide variety of legends. I mean, you've got Vader, Ted DiBiase, Andre the Giant.
Yes, there's a Max Smashmaster card from the Chikara Wrecking Crew pack.
Oh, baby.
And Maxwell Jacob Friedman is in CZW set 5. Anyone else you want to look up while I'm here?
Oh,
no Smart Mark.
Ooh. Smart Mark definitely does not have one.
But there's like a Beyond Wrestling set and such, so it's possible. But right here, I'll show the camera here, which I also have a nice third angle here. If you're watching on YouTube, we got Brian Myers, we got always ready. Where's the camera? Matt Cardona. These are nice. And then I'll put these side by side. We got Bear Country. These are really cool. And they got their... These are somewhat new, too, because they have their masks that they've had for the past 2-3 years. And, of course, Brian and Matt, since 2020 they've been back on the indies. So, yeah, these are... 20. These are fairly newish artwork designs, so they're constantly popping them out. Anyone else you want to look up here?
I want to ask about, Max Caster, anyone else, but
no Caster.
Let's see.
Sting?
Maybe there's a Sting.
Well, he would be in Legends, so let me go to the Legends section. There's no Sting. Which is unfortunate because I feel like he's built to be a part of an artistic pack like this. This is super cool. I love these. But okay. I mean, let's dive.
Oh, it's full Devastation Corporation for Chikara with Smashmaster.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but sure. There's an Adam Cole ROH set and a CZW set. Ooh. 2 ROH sets. Yeah, so it's really goes here, huh?
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. I mean, that we touched on it briefly, but you got Chikara, Ring of Honor, Evolve, CZW, Shimmer, and a whole lot more. I mean, Kevin Owens when he was, in another life in his Kevin Steen days.
I remember seeing that one. There's some AJ Styles, Al Snow, Nick
Gage,
Alex Reynolds. Man, I should have asked for a bunch of these, but I didn't think of them at the time.
I thought you were going to say I should have asked for one, like a view.
Oh, no. I'm not there yet.
I agree. Get one.
What do you say we crack this baby open?
Let's go. I want to see who's in the starter. This is the starter pack, right?
This is the starter pack. Yep.
Yeah, so, I want to see who's in the starter pack.
Legends of Wrestling card and dice game, which I can't wait for you to see what the dice look like. The die. All right, I'm going to take them out, put them, I'm running out of real estate here. All right, so first thing I'm going to show you is...
We're going to hold them up to both cameras so that I can see.
The die. Ready?
And
look at these little guys.
Man.
How adorable.
Are those smaller than regular die?
Yeah, I think. Oh, shit. I just dropped one. Actually, here, for reference... Here's a postage stamp.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's very small.
Yeah, very small. Okay. So I'm going to put these aside where I don't lose them because that's something I would do. So in this set, we get an instruction booklet, which we'll go through in a little bit. We get, this looks like this is cool. So this is kind of like a card rundown roster page.
Okay. All right.
So... it gives a description of each wrestler.
Oh, there's it's like when you play the old school wrestling video games and they have like the bios and the manual. Oh God, that's a lost art.
Yeah, and then Randy Savage, the Big Get there. These are awesome. So Legends of Wrestling is a card and dice game that allows you to recreate classic matches, like I can't talk today, from the past, like Luthez versus Buddy Rogers. It also gives you a chance to see what would happen if a high flyer like Rob Van Dam took on a technical like Harley Race. How about Randy Savage against Bobo Brazil? All of these matches and more are possible. These are awesome. So, okay, here we go. Todd Joerchel. He is the editor. So that's pretty cool. That's who we will be talking to later on in this episode. Now we got these cards explain different card situations that happen throughout the game here.
Okay.
So say move 1, throw the opponent into the ropes. Opponent rolls on the into the ropes chart. And then move 2 could be try a belly-to-belly suplex. And then so if you roll an 8 or lower. So whatever the situation is, this is kind of like a cheat sheet where you could look and see what happens there and what the next move is. So without further ado there, whoa, almost dropped the cards as well. We're going to get into the cards here, and this counts as our roster read this week because we're not going to read all of them. All right, so first up we got Luthez.
Man, I love this artwork.
I like the belt, right? Yeah, the artwork, and it's just nice.
One time when we talked about having a card set, this is pretty much exactly what I had imagined in my head, like this style.
These are they're like double of actual cards, which I could actually. I got a Stang card here, so I'll show you what it's like compared to an actual trading card.
Man called Stang.
So I guess it's even bigger than double.
Yeah. It's like 5x7, right? It's like postcard size.
It's a little smaller than that, I think. Actually, I got everything over here. We got a tape.
Why did you just have? Oh, I thought you just were gonna pull up a postcard. I was just like, what the hell?
5.5 by 4.25.
Okay,
so, all right, a little different. All right, that's Luthez. Then we got Buddy Rogers. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, this is a nice one. You're gonna like this one. Gorgeous George.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, there's got to be one of them in this screen. Bobo Brazil. Wow, look at the vascularity, pal. So this game came out in 2003. This is something I want to ask Todd because on the back it says 2016, 2021. So maybe this type of card came out in 2016. I want to know what it was like in 2003 when it came out. Oh, yeah, everybody knows this guy, Harley Race.
Oh, who's that guy? I've never seen him.
Fucking love the NWA Championship belt. Always have, always will. That's for years. There was one on eBay signed by AJ Styles that I wanted so bad. It was like $150, and I let it go.
Damn.
And it never happened. Oh, here we go. Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
What belt is that? AWA, maybe? I should know this, but I don't. Kind of like blurred. Okay, so this is kind of cool.
I'm sure there's certain details that they leave out, due to licensing or, trying to get the rights. I'm sure some companies are very easy to work with and others are like, no.
So let me show you the back here. So the back has offense with 3 different levels and then defense with 3 different levels based on what you roll. But then on the bottom, there's asterisks that say, like, in a singles match, use a flying clothesline for Hawk. And then Harley Race has a different one. If Race decides to do a death jump, roll 2 dice. On 2 and 9, use the result from the opponent's death jump chart rating. On 10 to 12, he hits the diving headbutt. So every card is different.
Huh.
It's very complex.
John, I just sent you something.
Where?
On the Messenger.
Oh, that exists?
Yeah. Oh, that's on their website.
Chris Statlander card.
Chris Statlander.
Huh.
She is in the Women of the Indies 2019 pack.
2019. She was still in the
Indies.
Crazy.
Zaya Brookside, Scarlett Bordeaux, Holly Dead, Alley Cat, Faye Jackson, Kiara Hogan, and Chris Wolf.
I feel like a lot of these, as you're saying them, like I'm picturing them, like I have seen them or either them post about them or something. Here we go. Kurt Hennig.
Oh,
That's
absolutely perfect.
a perfect one. I'm going to save this one for last because it's the best one. Look at this one. Look at that detail. RVD, Rob Van Dam.
The whole effing show. I'm pulling these up on my screen as you're
good call.
As you're holding them up, so I can see them. So I can see them there, and then I can see them in the better detail.
Yeah, and they put their moves in there. 5-star frog splash, Van Daminator, rolling thunder, leg drop across guardrail. Love that. Split-legged moonsault, body scissor cradle, standing moonsault, rolling fireman's carry. RVD had the best moveset. He was so much fun to play with in video games. Here we go. Bruiser Brody. Nice.
Oh, the detail on that one is great.
Yeah, the blade marks on the head. They're beautiful. Oh, Hacksaw.
Not a sentence you say often.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hello.
From Glens Falls, New York. What's up, Will? There we go. Ted DiBiase. That's a nice shot.
Everybody's got a price.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. Huh. Now, I want to know if these were like hand-drawn, if they were done in Illustrator, if they were hand-drawn and then brought to digital.
So when I zoom in on the pictures that are on the website, it looks like, and this is just me making an assumption based off, my own design experience. It looks like what they're doing is that they're taking in a photo of the wrestler and they're tracing over it to get the correct shape and the details where they need to be. And then obviously the backgrounds are all customized based on, the wrestler. And then it looks like the art style and how they're doing the color shading and the color choices. That is really where they're getting the opportunity to like shine and kind of put their spin on it, because it is the level of detail in here for like the shading. They're
like
stuff,
tattoos almost.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Here we got Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Says he weighs 250 pounds. I highly doubt that.
On what world?
Nikolai Volkov. He weighs 313 pounds.
That is a little bit more believable.
George, I humble you. The Iron Sheik. One of the best characters ever. Love that.
Love it.
Choke on ropes, sidewinder suplex, camel clutch, loaded boot. That's cool. All right.
Cheeky baby, getting a card.
Animal to go with that hawk. Let's so I like this.
Let's get that side by side.
Yeah, I like that they continue. Where's Hawk at? They continue the background and like the logo between tag teams like that.
I was gonna say it's almost like it's one big picture that they just cut.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so sick.
Yeah.
I love the way that looks.
And you know what?
So nice.
It's not red and black classic Hawk and Animal, which I like. I like when they use different pictures and different reference shots for these types of things. So you're not getting the same stuff over and over through different platforms.
Oh, you know who I just thought of that I want to see if they have a card?
All right. Then I got the grand finale here.
How did you search? You just searched on the list of all the...
Yeah, there's the find your favorite wrestler page, and then I just command Control F, whatever.
I want to see if Swoggle has one.
Oh. Yep. Indies Prime 2018 Swoggle.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Val Venus has one. No one cares.
Moving on.
Oh, man. All right, and the grand finale. I think this is one of my favorite ones here. Macho Man, Randy Savage. I would give you an ooh yeah right now, but I'm very mucusy. I probably end up coughing a lot. So
yeah, I would say fingers would come out.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Pretty damn cool, man.
That is really nice looking.
Roll one die on roll of 1. Savage hits flying axe handle to the floor. So I really like everything about these, honestly. The artwork is incredible. These are cool, even if you don't plan on playing this card game just to have. They're cool just to look at and collect.
I want these large size to have like a gang shot of all the cards where they're all like blended and meshed together as like a poster.
That would be cool. That's something we could probably do, honestly. We said with the tag teams before how they mesh together. I did hold these up before, but Bear Country, they have their logo in the background. You actually have Boulder's arm going into Bronson as well.
It's so good.
Yeah, they have their Bear Salt. They have the Elevator Drop, the Kodiak Cannonball, the Bear Trap. These guys do their homework, I'll tell you that.
It's really... and it's awesome to see that that level of detail is going into, because I feel like, that's the card that you probably would know best.
He's got the Long Island Express. He's got the Spear, the STO, Lifting DDT. I guess you can't call that an impaler, right? It's updated. He's got his daughter's tattoos. It's definitely updated. Matt Cardona's got the Jumping Leg Lariat. All right, maybe he didn't name it yet.
Maybe. What's the copyright on the bottom of that card?
2020. So it wasn't radio silent yet. I guess it was.
It wasn't radio. It was just
A Jumping Leg Lariat. Yeah. Face Wash, Flying Elbow Drop, Hangman's Neck Breaker. Yeah, these are all his moves. I guess the Face Wash is really the drive-by. What's it called? Reboot now.
The reboot. Yeah.
So as I'm staring at your Find Your Favorite Wrestler page, did you go to the bottom? There's some concept artwork for Jimmy Snuka and Percy Pringle and Claudio Castagnoli. Who?
Claudio's
might have heard of him.
In one of the packs, I saw him.
Okay.
When I was going through.
Tom Pritchard, man, they got everyone here.
That
Trish Stratus.
That Percy Pringle one is great.
VSK has one.
No way.
Yeah, Promoter Prime 2017.
The VSK?
The VSK, the very controversial. Binny, yes. Binny has one. Okay. All right, so that's really cool. Let's take a gander at this instruction booklet. It's a lot of pages. We're not going to go through all of this here, but I'm going to try to summarize best I can. So the game begins with each of two players deciding which wrestler they want to be in the match, and if you're playing alone, deciding which wrestlers will battle each other. Oh, so you can play alone. That's pretty cool. The wrestler playing cards will be used throughout the match. Players will take turns rolling the dice and seeing what happens on the wrestler playing card. One wrestler will make a move on offense, and then the opponent responds on defense, and so on throughout a match. The object is to win the match by pin, disqualification, or countout. Interesting. All right, so each wrestler playing card contains info about the offensive, blah, blah, blah. For a move on the offense followed by a 1, the opponent rolls this level 1 defense. So we need, if we were to play this, I feel like we need a large table because we need all of these charts in front of us.
The choice judging charts. By the size of the cards.
Yes. I feel like there's a lot of rules here, but once you get going, you just get going, and it's fairly simple. I'm going to let's test it out. Let's go Matt versus Brian right now. Let's test. No, you know what? Matt Cardona versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, okay.
Should we try it out? Yeah. Should we try it out? All right, so I'm going to have Macho Man roll first. I have no idea if this is going to make sense, if I'm doing anything right here. Okay, let's get these choice cards ready. Macho Man is going for offense. So there's got to be a way to keep score. I'm not going to do that, but let's do just a little test roll.
Do you want me to open up?
No,
something?
I'm just going to do 1 or 2. So Macho Man rolled a 5, so he's doing a running axe handle, and that's negative to Matt Cardona. Now the defense, he's going to go with a 1, which is he's dazed. So I guess Macho Man goes again. I drop the die. It's a 6. Now Macho Man's hurt. Maybe they clonked heads. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm on defense. Body slam, another -2. All right, Matt Cardona. It says Matt Cardona in exclamation point. So I don't know what that means. That it just says his name.
that's how he says his own name.
Yeah, okay. He yells his name.
Oh, look at that.
He yells his name and gets hurt. All right. No, I think that means that it's now his turn. So he rolls and gets a 5, which is a jawbreaker.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now Macho Man's on the defense, and he gets... All right, now he's taking control back. It says Macho Man. All right. Macho Man goes grinding headlock. Ooh. And Matt Cardona answers with... He's dazed. And Macho Man... He goes into the ropes. Matt Cardona switches it up on him and hits
standing switch.
A flapjack. I don't think I'm doing
that. Is actually accurate.
I don't think I'm doing this right, but hey, it's fun. Macho Man now is hurt, and Matt goes for... He goes into the turnbuckle, and Macho Man counters with a knee drop.
Damn.
Okay. Now, Matt goes out of the ring, and Macho Man also goes out of the ring.
Okay.
Convenient. Now, Matt goes for an avalanche Hurricane Rana, and Macho Man is down.
Okay. What a sequence there.
Matt Cardona, flying elbow drop to Macho Man.
Oh, no. The tables have turned.
Here we go. It's a pin. It says 4. Pin 4. I don't know what that means.
How do pins work?
I don't know. That's something we're going to have to... Sorry, I'm not by the microphone. That's something we're going to have to figure out in the future when we do our playthrough. But I'm getting it's like EWR, but in your hand, which is pretty cool. Just go back and forth to roll the dice. I mean, that was not the proper way to play, but just sitting there seeing what comes next is pretty fun. I like the pins come out of nowhere. We got to figure out how to make the pin game happen. And yeah, I think that was pretty cool. Now,
I like how, at least the way that you were playing it, how fast paced it is for like a dice game.
Oh yeah, if we both have a dice and we just keep going back and forth, we could go. Yeah, it would be awesome. Now,
that's fantastic.
Filsinger did add a collectible card for Macho Man in 2013, so he was not part of the original set. That must have been a huge get for him. I love that Macho Man's just popping up everywhere. He's in games now. He's in card games. He's hopefully going to be in some more stuff. I don't know, video games, maybe. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like Cella made the Bone Cruncher. I think that's cool.
We'll buy the rights to him and put him in something.
We'll put him behind me in a green screen on the show or something. I don't know.
There we go.
Now, 500 cards were printed and numbered, making them pretty much more of a collector's item than an actual game. Like we said, like you could use these for either. But if you go on the website, which is filsingergames.com, and you check out the list of wrestlers, it is absolutely endless. And I feel like they're not stopping anytime soon. There is a section on the website for upcoming releases, and it goes on and on and on. So,
there's the Legends roster, which I think we said is 13 sets. Then there's the indie sets. And there's more indie sets. There's I think either double or potentially 3 times the size. Name a big promotion and they've got cards for it. Ring of Honor, Evolve, Shimmer, CZW, Chikara. They've got tribute cards. They've got Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, AEW, Inspire, Beyond, WrestleCon. There so many, so many cards, and those are all packs that I just named or promotions, And within those promotions, there could be 3 to 4 packs. So there's a good chance that either someone from that you loved on the indies that it could now be signed to a major promotion, or someone that you just love on the indies now is a part of this game already.
Yeah, that's the coolest part, and it's just going to be more to come. But what do you say right now, George? We throw it on over to our interview with Filsinger Games, Todd Joerchel.
Let's do it.
All right, Game Marks Podcast. We are now welcoming Todd from Filsinger Games. Welcome to the Game Marks Podcast. We are happy to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Johnny and George. This is great.
So first of all, for everyone who doesn't know, why don't you explain, well, first of all, who you are and what you do at Filsinger?
Sure. So I'm Todd Joerchel. I do a little bit of everything for Filsinger Games. I started out as a fan back in the day. So this, Filsinger Games kind of started in the 80s. It's a card game mostly around the Champions of the Galaxy game, which if you were a long time Pro Wrestling Illustrated reader, I'm sure you would have seen some of those ads back in the day. I started playing back in 91, and then somewhere in like the mid 2000s, I kind of started coming in and kind of helping out a lot of other things. And now I've, help send out some of the stuff. I also help coordinate some of the different things, mostly around our independent wrestling games, and also run some of our different fan conventions as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's some of the stuff we wanted to ask about. So we see an extensive amount of indie wrestling names. We noticed a bunch of our friends on there.
Yep.
You were kind enough to send us Matt and Brian and Bear Country. But these cards seamlessly integrate into the Legends of Wrestling game itself, or are they their own?
Yeah, so they're all the cards are across all the different game lines can all definitely work with each other.
Oh, cool.
We try our best to balance things out between Legends and the Indies, and kind of make up. Obviously, it's tough to say for sure. There's always a lot of gray area around exactly, how well they should stack up against each other. But, we try our best to kind of at least make sure that they make sense against each other. So, you're not going to have, the Road Warriors against Los Ice Creams from Chikara is not going to be, an even matchup. So
that's one thing we noticed looking at like the back of the cards, the attention to detail, whether it's the move names or the, I guess, what do you call the, like hit points or?
I guess just kind of like how we stat it. Yeah, it's not necessarily hit points that we have, but yeah, I mean the offense and defense and how you set those up, and like the strength of the offense, strength of the defense. We do a lot of research into exactly what moves people use, what type of offense that they have. So if somebody is a much more has much more longer matches that are much more defensive, the card is going to reflect that. If it's a very fast paced, high hitting, but maybe, quick matches that guys will have, then that gets reflected as well. There's definitely a lot of detail paste to that. Where we can, if we could, talk to certain people that we do cards with, we try to get their input as far as the move names that they use. So we're just accurately reflecting it best we can.
That's awesome. Now, when you sent us the Champions of the Galaxy pack as well, we opened that during the episode as well, which, I mean, the thing that jumps out at us, the artwork is so beautiful on the cards. It's so great. It's very eye-catching. And, in the Champions of the Galaxy set that you sent us, there's one character that you show, I believe it's Wolf, right? Is that?
Yes.
I got it right here.
Where you show the original artwork and the newer artwork. So we were kind of curious as to what did the wrestler's artwork look back in 2003? Like, what was that style? Like, was it similar to what it is now? Was it more of like a simplified version? Just
yeah. So I guess the game started get back in the 80s, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with a game called Stratomatic. I know Stratomatic Baseball was a really big thing back when I was younger. I know I'm a little bit older than you guys there.
I know the name.
Yeah, that definitely sounds familiar.
Okay, and they made a lot of different sports games that's very, very stat based, and the Champions of the Galaxy was kind of based a little bit around that, about doing a simulation type game. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It's in my basement. Yeah, I have this.
Yeah, so it's very much like that, where like each card represents a specific player in Stratomatic, and then in this one, every card represents a wrestler. So it's not like you have a deck that might represent 20, 30 cards that might be a character. Everybody, a character is just on one card, and so there's 3 levels of offense, 3 levels of defense, and there's a couple other chart ratings and stuff like that. So, as you kind of certain things that you'll go onto a chart for that, depending on the ratings between each of the different opponents, that'll help drive the flow of the match. And then, so yeah, it's kind of very much on that Stratomatic side where there's different levels depending on like what type of things that you're doing, and the dice rolls will help to determine that. Back in the day, I think when it was first done, there's a couple other games on the market, and everything was just black and white basic cards, so that wolf card that you have there, that's how the cards originally were, and they were for quite a while, probably longer than they should have been, to be quite honest. And eventually we're like, okay, we need to start colorizing stuff. So first thing that was colorized was Champions of the Galaxy. And then we wanted to it's like, okay, we had just started kind of, we'd been doing Legends of Wrestling for a while, which is real life wrestlers, kind of mostly guys from the past. But then the idea was kind of coming up that I kind of brought to Tom Filsinger, who's the creator there, was like, we should really be looking at the indies these days, because, who's kind of like, going to be the guys of the future. So I kind of started with him, what we called Legends of the Future, which was the first kind of sets that we did. But then quickly thereafter, like, okay, let's get into really making this more of a color product. And then we started off with Chikara, which was the first one. I'm a huge Chikara fan. That's what got me into indie wrestling. So that was an easy kind of bridge between Champions of the Galaxy and indie wrestling. I figured that was, it's comic booky, whatnot. It kind of fit with the art style and whatnot. So we started with that, and then eventually got into Ring of Honor. We've done Evolve stuff, Shimmer, CZW, and a bunch of other different feds or promotions for a while. The last couple years, we have kind of strayed away from working with individual promotions just because we kind of felt it was a little limiting. There are certain guys who are like, well, we want to do a card for this guy, but he doesn't work for any of the other promotions. So eventually now we do, it's kind of like the best of the indies. So we have a set that's focused around men, women, tag teams. We did a deathmatch set. We've done different areas. So we did a UK, a Canada, Mexico, whatever the focus is, we kind of bounce around, but we try to get guys across all aspects of indie wrestling. And I think it's been very well received recently.
Yeah, it's cool to see names that maybe back then you wouldn't have thought you would be seeing on a bigger stage now. I mean, friends of mine, MJF, Chris Statlander, I mean, Bear Country, they're all in there. But then you see like AJ Styles and Adam Cole and all those guys, and it's just really cool to see what we knew. I mean, obviously AJ, we knew what Adam Cole would become, but now they're just like mega stars, and that's really cool that they're in your line.
Yeah, no, exactly. Even other ones were like, well, hey, there's this guy that's starting to get a little bit of buzz now that's out of the Pacific Northwest, our Darby Allin guy. Let's do it. He's got a cool look. Let's do a card for him. And then suddenly now he's like one of the biggest guys there. It's kind of cool kind of seeing the trajectory of some of the guys that, when we first kind of did cards for them, maybe weren't very well known by many people in the industry.
It's crazy to go through the find your favorite wrestlers page on your website. I found that while we were recording the episode, like, we're talking and we're like reading and we're like, oh, this person has a card, this person has a card. And like, we're reading off the person's name, scrambling to try to find the artwork of the card if it wasn't already in the pack that we had it. And it's just this list is, I almost want to use the word daunting. It's so massive.
It can be, yes.
It's so cool though, because there's so many people from so many different promotions, from so many different, I guess, levels, ranking, indie guys, legends, people who, are just getting signed now. It's crazy to just see the amount of names on this list.
Yeah, no, that's been a lot of fun. It's just kind of, seeing who else we can bring in. Obviously, the legend stuff the last couple of years has really kind of gotten even bigger for us. We had to, we first started off back in 2003 with the legends, and it was all the black and white sets, but we kind of like relaunched legends maybe about 5 or 6 years ago with the color starter set, which is the one that I sent you guys there. But we've been doing expansion since then and kind of bringing new guys in, and it's been cool. We've been able to get the permission from all sorts of guys. Like there's Tully Blanchard was the new one that was added in later. Rock and Roll Express. We did a set that was kind of more Midwest based that we got Stan Hansen in there for kind of a 90s set that we got Vader. But even like we try to also, a big focus for us is paying homage to the history of wrestling. So one of the last Legend sets that we did earlier this year, we had Sputnik Monroe and Billy Wicks in there that we got permissions from their family, which we were beyond thrilled with because that's such a big piece of wrestling history that we get to recreate in the game, which is so cool. And then we did like a vintage set last year with guys like Gotch and Hackenschmidt and had special charts that reflected the wrestling style of the day. And that's another thing that we've really kind of done also is that if you have certain styles of matches that you want to run, you can do it here. There's special charts for that. We have a book that we just kind of re-released our big compendium of called the Ringside Companion, which has like 100 types of matches in there. You can run anything from a battle royal, different types of steel cage matches, chain matches, like tables, ladders, anything you want, you can pretty much run in there.
That's awesome. See, that's what I explained earlier when we did the full episode on this. This doesn't have to just be a game you play. There's like an endless amount of like a collection aspect to this as well. Like, I don't know how many times me and George are going to play this game because we don't see each other very often, but I want to go and I want to buy like you said, Darby Allin. Like I want to start like actually just having these just to have them because they're cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a whole new side of it that it's endless. Like we said, and you're going to keep putting stuff out and yeah, it's just so cool. But were there any other wrestling games that kind of inspired you or brought you into the wrestling game, I guess, spectrum? Like there's Raw Deal. There's just recently Smack Talk Showdown that comes with Lewd Attitude. Are you familiar with any of those?
I am familiar with a couple of those. I've kind of maybe played them here and there, but I mean, to me, it's always just the one that kind of got me was the Champions of the Galaxy back in the 90s, and that's really mostly what I personally play. I mean, obviously before that, I was playing, the early video games, I was going back to NES Pro Wrestling and all that stuff, that got me hooked on wrestling games for sure.
Those are the questions we should be asking you, but
But unfortunately, my video games is not as much. My son is more the video game player of the family at this point there. So I unfortunately not as much as up to date on all that as I have been in the past. But mostly just kind of focusing on stuff around the card game here. And we do have a digital version of it as well that we do. You can play online as well with it too, which I know we're still looking at doing some major enhancements to that in the future. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Where could that be found?
That can be found at cotgonline.com. It's also off the Filsinger Games website. Still, most of our people do play the standard cards, and I think that one has more of the collectible aspect, as you mentioned. I think there's plenty of people that don't necessarily play everything. Maybe they'll play through it once as they kind of get it, but I think there's a lot. The collectible aspect is definitely a big thing there.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to go to our Patreon fan questions now. We kind of answered some already, so I'm going to skip through those. But
do we want to just get the big one out of the way now that we ask everyone?
No. That's the last one. That's the last one. What could we expect at Galacticon 33?
So Galacticon is our annual summer convention that we do. For I guess like the first 25 years, we held it up in Jamestown, New York, which is upstate New York near Buffalo. That's where Tom Filsinger, the founder of the company, lived. So we had it up there as our annual track, and he's since moved out to Arizona. So we've been kind of traveling it around the last couple of years. But it's our game convention that we do. Mostly it's around people getting together and playing the game. I think a lot of people play by themselves. I think that one thing that we didn't really kind of mention is it's very good for solitaire. So kind of playing by yourself there, you don't have to play against somebody else, which is it's a unique aspect. And some of the creativity there is really around kind of building up your promotion and kind of telling the storylines through the cards and dice. So I think a lot of people mostly just play it that way and don't get a chance to play against other people in more of a competitive aspect. So we have there we kind of run different game tournaments and whatnot. We'll have big reveals of things that are coming up for the rest of the year. We'll have our major releases. So the main Champions of the Galaxy game gets released at Galacticon each year. I think it's on to the 52nd edition at this point, which is
nice.
Well, it's an ongoing continuous storyline from since then. Every single year we get updated. For a while there's twice a year updates, which is why it's a little longer than that. But yeah, I think it's the 52nd edition, which again kind of daunting, but there's different jumping on points and whatnot. And then we also have our big release for our George Tragos Luthez Hall of Fame set. This is the third one that we're doing there. It's a Hall of Fame that's based out in Waterloo, Iowa. A couple of the guys who work on our Legends game are on like the board and heavily involved with everything there. So we kind of have a partnership there, and that's kind of gotten us some great names the last couple of years. Jerry Briscoe is kind of the chair of everything there, and he's been a huge supporter of everything that we do. And we do a big fundraising auction each year, and that's part of Galacticon as well. We usually have some special guests and whatnot. I think we're still kind of working a little bit on that, but this year we're going to be hosting out in Chicago at the Holiday Inn out by the O'Hare Airport. Just a full weekend of kind of wrestling fun. I know there's a AEW wrestling show, there's an MLW wrestling show in town that weekend. So mostly it's considered around gameplay and just kind of fellowship around the game fans. It's a big kind of community that we kind of keep on fostering, and that's a big part for a lot of us too.
That's great.
Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
I want to change this one up a little bit, George, because it's kind of, this game's been around a while. They asked like the inspiration for the artwork and the inspiration for kind of like what helped create the game, but it's been around for so long. So I guess we could kind of touch on what inspired the artwork, but I guess the revamped artwork, and also any challenges with getting, say, a wrestler or a license that you want, because I know I would like a nice Sting card.
Oh, but, yeah.
I don't see it there.
Yeah, obviously it's a small company, so like our budget is a little limited, and, we're not just going to go and put something out there, just, without somebody's permission. So we whatever we can do, if we can get permission there, there's certain things that we have certain agreements with certain people, depending on the situation. It's all kind of fluid there, but it's certain aspects. I say like working with the Hall of Fame in Iowa has definitely gotten us some people that we probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise there. Just as far as the inspiration for the artwork, I guess it really kind of, for the real life guys, we try to find what we think is a great encapsulation of the wrestler there and base it off of different artwork that we find. We try to get like whatever in certain times we'll do like different versions of guys, like an alternate version of a guy. But for the first time that we're doing it, we try to get like the best encapsulation of the guy. And our artist, Werner Meek, is, we have a couple artists that work on different things, but he's our most prolific artist and does most of the indies and the Legends guys. And he just does a great job of kind of capturing that. And he's a self-taught colorist as well, and he does an awesome job with the coloring. It's really amazing.
Such a unique and beautiful style. I mean, they're so eye-catching, and especially at the size that the cards are printed, it's literally the first thing that I noticed. It was just like, how are you not drawn to the cards just because of how great they look?
I thought they looked a little like almost like tattoos, the way they're shaded and outlined.
No, I could see that. I can see that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But as far as the Champions of the Galaxy, I guess it really kind of that's kind of more of our fictional series, more sci-fi in the future. And I mean, there's all sorts of different things for that. Obviously, there's definitely comic book influences and sci-fi influences there. Tom has been writing again since the 80s, and he always, whatever kind of is the current day things, even in pop culture and other things that kind of influence that. There's all sorts of things that might influence, but the current artist for our GWF, which is kind of like the main Champions of the Galaxy line, is Daryl Banks, who has done a lot of artwork for Green Lantern and a number of other DC and Marvel titles there, and he's great. So he's been doing it, I think, at least the last 10 years or so. He's been doing the artwork for our main Champions of the Galaxy set, and then we have some other ones too. We've done our reimagined sets, which is kind of starting back from the original version, the original games that first came out, having new artwork and colorized and whatnot. And that's actually been a good thing to kind of get people into Champions of the Galaxy from the other games. It's a nice introduction there. And then the one that I sent you guys was our Tournament of Champions set, which was like a special set kind of in honor of our 50th mainline game release. And it was the kind of like best art from best characters from over the years, and a number of different artists that we've had. Our original artist was Chuck Carter, who's gone on to do a lot of different games. He was one of the main designers on Myst, I know, for a while, and he's done some other different video game stuff these days. But we've had a couple of other different artists. Another one that I'm sure people, if you're a comic book fan, know is Brian Michael Bendis, who's a big a writer at Marvel now, and he was an artist for us for quite a while too.
That's awesome.
Which is so kind of cool. Neat. So within that game set, you'll see like different artists from all of our different years in there, and some of our kind of best hit characters. So it's not necessarily as much of a tight storyline that you'd see in like our main series sets, but it's a nice kind of taste just to kind of get a sense of the whole history of the game. And we also put some stuff in there about the actual history of the game itself in that book, which is for people who are unfamiliar.
That's awesome.
Awesome. The books were one of my favorite features. Here's the burning question.
Okay.
Can you do a kickflip?
I cannot do a kickflip.
All right. Sorry. I mean, we haven't found anyone yet, so we got to hit up Darby or something.
Yeah.
I still to this day don't remember where that started from.
I don't know, but we've asked everyone since. No one can do it. Anything else you want to plug? Anything big coming up?
Seriously, our big thing is the convention coming up this summer there, and our big releases around that. We'll have up. We usually do our pre-orders a couple of weeks before the release, but our big George Tragos Luthez Hall of Fame set. We'll have our first name actually announced tonight. Will be our first big name release for that, but we'll have names throughout the whole month. We try to do stuff usually a couple times a week. If you follow our social media. On Twitter, filsingergames.com, the Filsinger Games on Twitter, and we post everything on filsingergames.com as well. And you can just kind of follow all of our releases there. We'll be doing again our main Champions of the Galaxy release. We just are about to send out our Best of the Indies 2022 set, which has some pretty fun names. I know Ziggy Dice is in there.
I think I saw Ninja Mac is in that.
Ninja Mac is in that. Yes. Kevin Blackwood was in that. So yeah, that's one of our favorite indie releases of the year. We did mention we have mentioned earlier in the year that we're going to do our next women's set. We do a women's set every year, so that one will be coming out in the fall. And then we had done a tag team set earlier this year that had like the Von Erichs in there, and it had one of the main events. I know there's multiple main events going around the indie scene this year, but the Midwest version. Hopefully we get the Northeast version in there soon too.
Very popular name.
Yeah, they're great.
Differently.
Yeah, exactly. But then the other thing that's really kind of big that's kind of popped. It's a kind of one of those accidental thing. Well, I don't know if it's accidental, but kind of maybe. Good things that's kind of come out of the pandemic, if there is such a thing, is that we've been starting to do virtual conventions. So like as part of if you can't join us in Chicago for Galacticon, you could also join us virtually online and kind of participate in some online tournaments, as well as doing being part of our panels and any of our special guest interview. You can participate in that, and then we do other quarterly interviews as well, quarterly virtual conventions as well. We usually have a guest on there. I know we just had Jerry Briscoe at the last one. We had Les Thatcher in January, and we had done a Memphis set last year and had Austin Idol on there to kind of announce his card in that set too, which is kind of fun. So it's kind of cool. We try to bring in the legends as much as we can into that, and just kind of get people together and do some of these game tournaments online best we can. So it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's definitely fostered the community. if you go to our website, there's our link to our message board, and then also to our Facebook page where people are just sharing stuff all the time, which is it's definitely been a big thing the last couple of years. It's just kind of that community getting even closer together in these kind of crazy times. It's kind of somehow it's fostered more togetherness in that way.
It's fantastic.
Awesome. I love everything about this company and the sets and just everything. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us and informing our listeners. I think you're going to get a lot more fans after this, after they hear and hopefully see this. Thank you. Keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Don't be surprised if Clash is sliding into those DMs trying to get that Sting card.
Well, the other thing I will say is online there's a big bootleg community too. So if you can find someone that we put out, there's probably some type of bootleg out there too. So people sharing stuff all over the place. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right.
Todd, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Man,
you knew I was going to try. Now I'm all congested and throaty, but did you know?
Interviews, man.
Did you know Filsinger Games will host Galacticon 33, their annual summer convention in July in Chicago?
Did you know new packs will be released at the convention as well as every other month throughout the year?
Did you know the Filsinger Games starter set is available on filsingergames.com for $27? Now, this game, we said 2003. Fairly old game, but now we're going to go back even further because they were kind enough to also send me, you hear that rip? I just ripped it open. Champions of the Galaxy, which came out in 1987. Now, this was first advertised in a national magazine in the summer of 86. It was an instant success and the second edition of the game was released in 88. Now, regular expansions have been released every year since with no end in sight, and the game fans watch and participate in unfolding mythology of the GWF. Over 100,000 games have been sold worldwide. I think these are going to be pretty cool as well. This is a commemorative starter set. We got the same type of instruction booklet with the same situation cards, just like Legends of Wrestling. Oh, this is cool. Special thanks for assisting in pulling together this milestone starter set. This is from Tom Filsinger. Wow, it's got the whole Tournament of Champions story in here. It's got wrestler bios. So these are wrestlers, but they're also like mythological wrestlers.
I was say I'm looking at the story right now.
These are cool. I like Thunder because he looks like Sting, but with thunderbolts on his face. See, he looks like Sting when he came out with CM Punk. All right, let's check out these cards. Also, with the mini dice, I love that. I'm gonna lose them, but I love that.
I love the dice. I think it's great because it just. I mean, how often do you get a game and it's just that same white die?
Yeah. Now we got
this changes it up. A
Star
bit.
Warrior, aka Cody Rhodes, Homelander. We got Phantos. We've got. I'm gonna save that one for last, actually. So that's a cool little thing they put in here. Here we go. There's Thunder. I feel like I should put that on my Sting shelf behind me.
I would say I feel like that. It's almost like if Sting was Thor. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Here we have Matador of M83, or what's his name? The dude from The Boys. Chaos. That's a cool card. Oh, here we go. Amazonia the Savage. Thrash. Kind of like
I love the artwork on these cards.
Looks like an old school
so
like Japanese
nice.
wrestler almost. Like a Bull Nakano type. Max Shield. These are pretty damn cool, man. Mandrill the Prime Colonizer. Sorry. Little gorilla.
Little gorilla.
Endgame. I like that one.
Looking like evil Vision.
Goose End. Yeah, that looks like a goose end. Sorry. That's a D. That's Godsend. I'm gonna stick with goose end because look at that face.
Remember how we were coming up with like the wrestling gimmicks on game night?
Yeah, it's got to be goose end.
No, that's your fake wrestling persona.
Right, look at it though. Come on.
It does look like goose end. But no, yeah, that's your fake wrestling persona is goose end.
Yeah. All right. This one's odd, but I like it. Hector the Holy Brown Bear. It's a little dark.
What the hell? That was crazy.
Sly Drury. Oh, this one's a nice close-up. This is like anyone you know over the age of 45's Facebook picture. Monolith. Very, very close to the screen.
It's taking a selfie for the first time.
Aethrin Overmaster. That's a badass card.
Damn. That looks sick.
The Basilisk. Don't look him in the eyes.
Love that.
Horus the Unstoppable. That's nice. Okay. Now, these are the ones I wanted to save for last because this is Wolf, right? But also included is the original Wolf.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you got a little side-by-side here of the black and white artist rendered, whatever, hand-drawn 86 card. And then you have the newer re-release, I guess later on card. That's badass.
That is really, really
cool.
So
that's Champions of the Galaxy, their other wrestling card game. Please check these out, guys, whether on social media or if you want to go to their website, filsingergames.com, and look through what you would like to buy because these are cool and you can play them with literally anyone.
I mean, I look at it this way. Even if you're not a big card and dice game player, if you are a fan of wrestling, if you are a fan of comics, if you are a fan of, if you're even remotely interested in playing a card and dice game, the artwork for these cards are so cool.
Yeah.
And it's not like they are crazy expensive to get. So if you go through the Filsinger Games website and you see several wrestlers in a pack, I mean, this is a sweet collectible that you can throw in a case, in a binder. I mean, you could mat them together and use it as a backdrop for your DTOF. Like, there are so many different things that you could do if you didn't want to actually play the game. But go back if you forgot what happened a couple minutes ago when John played that fast paced. If that's how it's supposed to be, I think that's the coolest thing about the game is that it's a fast paced dice game. Because when you play dice game, what's the first? If I say a dice rolling game, what's the first thing that you think of?
Dice rolling. What do you mean?
Like that actual
like a board game?
Yeah, but what board game?
Like Monopoly or Scrabble?
That's the first
Scrabble.
one.
There's no dice in Scrabble.
Monopoly is the first one that comes to my mind too. And I don't want to play Monopoly for 6 hours.
I don't want to play it for any.
But this fast paced, beautiful cards to look at. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Now I'm going to go to ratings and reviews, but I don't want to relax for this one because this one's awesome. So if you're going to get ratings and reviews from anyone, we don't need a publication. We don't need just an average Dave Meltzer. We need the man himself, Stanley, reviewed
the one above all, games. If you will.
Stanley said that Champions of the Galaxy is a really cool game. He also reviewed Tom Filsinger's book, The Dark Menace of the Universe, and said Tom makes every page of this absorbing memoir a thought-provoking reading experience. That's all you need.
There's literally no better recommendation that you could get than literally the man, Stanley.
That's it. But all right, George, we went through the cards. We went through Champions of the Galaxy. But right now, it's time to rate the game.
The game!
All right, Johnny Clash, we're gonna change it up here because I mean you really had the cards in hand. You had a little bit more hands-on experience. We'll do a full play it forever future endeavor for the game itself when we do our playthrough. But I think what we could do right now is just kind of give our 2 to 3 sentence review of just the experience of like seeing the cards and the quality of the cards, and just kind of give a review of the feel of the game itself.
Okay.
So you want to kick us off with that?
Yeah. So I've had these cards for about longer than I should have, because we should have reviewed this game a while ago, but we thought we would be able to get together. And even so, we couldn't. But every time I've taken them out, looked at them, they've impressed me every single time. I want to play this game probably more than like the Royal Rumble game we have stashed away. It's just intriguing. It's endless because you could just like, I'm going to hit up VSK and Chris Statlander right after this, be like, yo, let me get them cards. I feel like I now need to start a collection here, and that's just pretty cool. I like it.
I also agree. I think that's
Reynolds
super
and Silver.
cool.
I got to get them all. But
this was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say play forever because we didn't play it, but I think you don't need to. You could just have it, and it's a cool collection.
Yeah, I mean, just from a standpoint of the artwork and the amount of hours and the quality of the cards themselves, I mean, that alone for me, I mean, how often do we play video games where the box art to the game feels lazy? Like these are however many hundreds upon hundreds of cards, and each one of them is unique and highly detailed. Like for that alone, this game is to play it forever for me, just because of the amount of detail that went into the cards. But like you said, I'm very excited to finally eventually be able to get together and play this game. We've tried so many times, and between scheduling and either you're sick or I'm sick, hopefully we'll be able to get together soon.
Hopefully we're not anymore.
Hopefully we get together and play this game.
Yeah.
But is it time for us to throw it on over to this week's debate topic? John, are you ready for Soft Lock?
Let's get there.
Soft Lock is a weekly segment on this podcast where a mega mark from our Patreon channel gives us a topic to debate, and John and I go back and forth and debate, discuss, argue about that topic. And this week, the topic comes from Megamark Tecker. What's going on, Tecker? And Tecker's question is, what board game would translate into a great video game? And I think that this is an interesting question because it's happened with several games already. Monopoly, The Game of Life, Uno. These are all like board games, card games that have translated, like Magic and Hearthstone and all. Like these are all, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Like all these games. The Pokemon trading card game is now, or became a video game when we were kids. Like there are so many of these board games, card games that have translated, but let's try to think of one that maybe hasn't. That would be
Labyrinth, even.
Oh yeah, like Marble Run and stuff. Like those are all like the Labyrinth style games.
Oh, I mean, always down for some One Night Werewolf. You know that.
Oh God, Werewolf is so good.
It's so good, and I feel like you could have like the villagers and the whole setup as a card game. I don't know. I think that would be a cool video game to actually like play it out.
So I'm thinking like. I'm thinking in terms of like what you could do with the animation and stuff, like something like Chutes and Ladders would be fun visually. Maybe like a Guess Who could be fun visually.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that might have been done.
Yeah, probably another, but I'm saying like give me like the Milton Bradley or whatever, whoever owns the right to those, like give me the official release of these games as like console video game releases. Trying to think what else. I mean, Catan is a big one that I feel like has been done over and over, but I don't think there's actually a official video game of Catan. Maybe there's like mobile ports, but I don't think there's like a full console release. I mean, we could be here for hours doing this. There's really no wrong answer. Like it could. I mean, Words with Friends is Scrabble.
Yeah. I feel like this is more of a you question because I'm not too big on the card game front. So,
I mean, I'm not a massive like card game or board game player. So I'm just kind of picking up from games I had when I was a kid that I haven't seen translate over into the video game world, and I'm just like, yeah, here's some ones that I had when I was a kid that may be fun to play. That's why I was like Shoots and Ladders or Guess Who. Those were the big games when I was a kid.
Did you have the Pokemon card game?
Like the video game?
The video game based on the card game?
Yes,
I like played it a few times. I never owned it. It just seemed like weird to me.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It was very dumb. You know what is like I saw in like a Target or something a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, wow, I forgot that this was a thing. Do you remember Light Bright?
Yes, I love that.
So apparently there's a new one, and it's like the little like clear pegs that you would put in are bigger because I don't know why they made a toy that small pieces for kids. But now like the lighting mechanism is like full RGB and like cycles between colors, and it's got like panels and like multiple sides that you can do stuff in.
You know how crappy that black paper was that would just start shredding and you try to reuse it and
yeah, and it's just like, okay, here's a little dog that you're gonna make, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then like you're 3 punctures in, and like it's falling apart, and it's oh man,
wow, all right, well, cool,
man, oh man.
But with that, are you ready for some gaming news sponsored by Wrestle Champs?
Let's go.
All right, guys, remember, download Wrestle Champs for iOS and Android. Use that partner code GameMarks1 and get a free move pack. Your gaming news.
Hell yes.
Star Wars Jedi Survivors is rumored to feature Darth Maul. People seemed pretty bummed by the Sonic Frontiers extended gameplay video, saying it looked kind of bland and needed some more development, which I'm sure it'll get. And Sonic seems to listen to the fans. Marvel Avengers has added Thor's Cosmic Herald outfit inspired by his Herald of Thunder look that debuted in Thor #1 in 2020. Valve has revealed that the Steam Deck's planned docking station has now been delayed, and according to the company, the peripheral has been pushed back for 2 reasons: part shortage and problems related to COVID. We all have problems related to COVID lately. Here's the big one. Spider-Man is coming to the PC in August, specifically August 12th, and that just tickles me because now I have no reason to get that PS5 if they're going to keep releasing these games on PC as well. Once they do Miles Morales, then it's all up from there. The next one, I'm going to be ready to go.
I think it all depends on if there's going to be, I mean, I'm sure there is, but maybe we have to do our part and and pick these up to play through them again.
I think, I just kind of finished Miles not too long ago, but I would dive in immediately.
I mean, that first one was something else, man.
Now, games releasing this week: The Elder Scrolls Online High Isle, Spellforce 3 Reforced, and that comes with some DLC. The Cycle Frontier, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 for the Switch, Green Hell VR, Mad Shot for the PC, Postal Brain Damage, Pro Cycling Manager. Oh, that's what I want. Pro Cycling Manager. Tour de France 2022, Mario Strikers Battle League for the Switch, and The Quarry.
Okay, so if you're watching the video version, you just noticed that I tilted my head as John was reading the games.
You do that a lot.
They're making another Postal game?
Yes, sir. And it will be out on June 9th. I don't really know these games, so your dumbfoundness is lost on me.
Yeah, if you know anything about the series, you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's just a series that doesn't need to be made in 2022. This is not a game that needs to be made in 2022. But we'll see what happens. All right, guys, youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast for all of our weekly playthrough videos, exclusive content, and more, including this week and every other week's video game. John, Patreon, what do we got going on this week?
All right, so this week on Patreon, you're getting the show ad-free on Monday. Tuesday, you're getting the show notes and GMP Game Over, where we are on our quest to defend the tag team titles. We haven't named our team of Bradshaw and Billy Gunn yet, but we're leaning towards either Bradass or Bottom Heavy. I can't. Wednesday, Future Endeavored. Last week I played. Oh, sorry, that just got me. Last week I played Ultimate Fighting Championship, the worst game in existence. This week you are playing Rock and Wrestle, and I'll send you the link I use. I actually played Bop and Wrestle instead. Bop
and Wrestle is available on Steam.
Yeah, well, don't pay for it. Thursday, Wild's World is going to return, and then GMP. Oh my God, I am going
GMP 26.
GMP 64 on June 26. We present Mayhem. That will be live.
Not
on Twitch.
WCW Mayhem.
No, close. But all right, what are we playing next week? We're going back to a regular old game, no Game Boy game, no card game, a nice old wrestling game.
And speaking of going back to a regular, John, we are playing Fire Pro Wrestling G.
Oh boy, what's left? X, Q, R.
We got a lot. We got the supers to play. We still haven't played like the first ever Fire Pro.
Oh, that's true. This is a PlayStation game,
like
right?
the first, I believe so. The first 3 Fire Pros that come out are just not what you're used to now, but.
All right.
I mean, there's a lot of games.
Somewhat familiar, so
it's on par with what we've come to know from the series as a whole. But as we have experienced in all the other Fire Pro games, each iteration has their own little tweaks that they do to make it unique. So very very excited to see what this one offers up. But yeah, John, is that it? Are we done?
I think that's it. Take us home.
All right. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for our new shirt designs. And Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for all of our exclusive content like show notes, exclusive shows, and everything else that you heard John talk about at GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. Just make sure to smack that subscribe button and leave us a review and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. And hey, I have another show that I do on the Major Pod Network. If you are a part of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Patreon Hard Foundation tier, it is myself and Swoggle, and the name of the show is Going Postal, and we pick a different topic every week, and you guys get to ask questions, and it's pretty much a retrospective of Swoggle's career, and we just kind of do a different topic every week. So I know John's mad that I have another show.
I'm not mad. I love that, Swoggle.
Swoggle and I would really appreciate it. You don't love me? Me and Swoggle would really appreciate it if you checked out the show. Johnny Clash, do that thing. Point to that sign.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future Endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast, how can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.